Conversations, a channel where we talk about life and adulting,
the ups,
the downs, and everything in between. My name is Sharon.
My name is Aisha.
And my name is Robinah. Today, we want to talk about the pressure to get married. That pressure that comes in very many forms, sometimes from yourself, by the way, because you've set life goals.
By the way.
You want to get married by 25. You want to get married by 27. And sometimes it comes from society. There's an expectation of, at this age, why are you still single? Why don't you have children? But also sometimes from family. Your folks are always asking, when are you getting married? When are you having children? When are you, there are so many expectations around getting married when you reach a certain age. So we want to delve into how to navigate that pressure, yeah? So ladies, have you ever felt the pressure to get married, by a certain age or from family or from society? Have you ever felt that pressure?
Or from self.
I know.
I mean,
tell us about it.
I don't know if, okay, clearly it wasn't pressure, but when you have your goals, you have your life planned out. Yeah, I remember when my husband and I had just started dating. I mean, I was like, I want to be married by 25. It was what I wanted in my life.
I like how we set these unrealistic goals for ourselves.
Yo, we even set dates, tentative dates. We sat down, I'm like, let us put tentative dates.
Okay.
But it is so funny that, even when you do these things, life happens. It humbles you, because
puts you back in line.
In that journey of us, dating, courting, we always had moments whereby I was done. I was like, He also had moments where I was like, maybe we've had a fight and things like that. So, yeah, pressure from self, I had it. But, interestingly, those dates that we wrote down, they never came to see the light of day. Never. But here we are now.
Yeah, married. Eventually, you got married.
Eventually, when we both felt like, you know what, now this is the right time. We have seen each other in the good times, in the bad times, happy times of dating, sad moments of really conflicting because you're trying to understand each other. So yeah.
Aisha?
Nah.
You don't relate.
I can't relate. but I think I've seen people putting others on pressure. I have a few cousins that have moved past that age where everybody and the whole society thinks that you should be married at this time. And really, I would be honest, the pressure is real.
It is.
It's real, because especially if your peers, age mates, work mates, the ones that you went to school with are all married. There is a TikTok video that I watched recently of a Muslim girl asking Anageba Hajat, what is happening? All of you guys are getting married. And now, because for Islam, it is so easy to get married. Because in Islam, you don't need a lot. In fact, they say that keep it as modest as you can. Even if you have about 4 people, you can get married. And of course, there is that time near Ramadan, because in Islam, a man is not supposed to be with a woman if they are not married, right? So you find that a lot of people get married before Ramadan just to prepare for the month, the holy month. So people actually get married
around that
time. So if everybody around you has gotten married, so definitely, and you're the one that has remained
in preparation for
Ramadan, people will ask, what about you?
It's like the peak season,
So me, I've seen people
just
getting
like
pressure.
December for Christians.
Hey.
I've never noticed.
You can know when you're in
You want
certain
to get
sectors,
Christmas
events
when
management,
Oh yes.
videography, photography, those months, getting a
Now
booking.
that you've mentioned, I've realized I think I have like 4 people,
Especially
that are
the
getting
last
married
week.
in the last 2 weeks of
Uh-huh.
December that I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was about getting everyone around because people are in holiday or something.
I think it's more like I want to close the year.
Hey.
Like this
With
year
a
should
ring
not
on
leave
it.
me behind.
Wow.
This year
And that's what I think, yeah. But that could also
But
be
the
a
pressure
reason,
is
yeah.
real. Like I've seen people struggle because first of all they don't come from a lighter point. The people that are putting pressure on you do not understand your reasons. Even if they did, they just don't care. And to me, it is more of shadowing the real importance of marriage because marriage is way beyond the wedding. So if you're pressurizing me to get married, especially for the wrong reasons, then I mean you don't know what you're setting me up for,
right?
And most people that have gotten married in haste find it difficult to settle in marriage, and most of the time these marriages in the very first years of marriage they get rocky.
Most times they just
for the wrong
kuguma.
reason. Yeah.
Like
To
they
keep up
just,
appearances.
Yes, like you just stay because man, I made the decision. It was
I
a
can't
wrong
do
one,
anything.
but let me try and make it work.
True.
But me, I don't think you should even succumb to that pressure. Me, I felt that pressure properly. Am I not the single one? So,
Robinah is single.
Kalango, for the right one, you never know. It might
The
be
right
watching
one,
timeless
yes.
conversations.
Only the right one.
so for me, I felt that pressure from within. I don't know, maybe when I was younger. But I remember the only goal that I set for myself when I was young, okay, not a goal per se, but I just say, I want to give birth by 25. It didn't even cross my mind to say I want to get married by 25, by the way.
You just wanted a child.
I know. Thinking about it in retrospect, it actually happened. The power of the tongue is real.
Thank you.
So I actually got a child by 25. So so for me, the pressure from myself wasn't there. But now the pressure from my family. My mom can keep asking me, I love you, mommy, but a pressure.
Relax. Mommy, please.
She keeps asking, my daughter, when are you getting married? You see, I think people think that this is just a box you tick.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Oh, that's why you don't want it.
Right? It's a lot more than that, you guys. Me, I'd rather stay single than get married to a wrong person.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't want to live a miserable life and then I don't want to walk that journey of over divorce, over separation, over what again. So I am careful to tread on those grounds.
Yes.
So every time, for me, when you ask me when are you getting married, I just tell you bring the man. Okay, but if
them right.
if you're
Supply the groom,
if you're asking, putting me on pressure, that's what I ask you. But when you're asking from a good place, I actually give you the time. I tell you that I've been with someone before and it didn't work out. I was young, I was naive, I didn't know better. We were both probably young. We all contributed to the failure of the relationship. And so I don't want to get it wrong again.
Yeah.
So I walk you through my reasons why I am the way I am. But when you ask from a place of putting me on pressure, bring the man and see if I will not accept and get married. But of course I won't.
Yeah.
So I just do that to chase them away really. Because
I know.
I feel like that's one of the very big decisions that you have to make as an individual. Because marry wrong and you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life.
And I don't think people understand the level at which this is serious. Because I've realized most strong women of substance that we know, are either the way they are because they were married, or they end up failing because of marriage still.
Right?
So it's important that as you think about these things really, Like, who do you see yourself as in the future? Are you the miserable missus that just keeps up appearance in marriage? Or are you actually thriving? And honestly speaking, the picture that we want to leave for our daughters and the girls that are seeing us is not one that is of a woman who shows off a ring, but deep down is broken.
Yes, we don't want that.
So, like, really, I tell people out there, I got married not because of pressure. I was very young. But I know of so many women that have succumbed to this pressure. And to be honest, it was not worth it to begin with.
Not at all.
Because the people who are pressurizing you to get married are themselves miserable.
Or for them they are married and happy, but circumstances are different.
Thank you.
You can't just say get married and then you know you go and pick you just go and pick someone who is available at the time, and then think that, well, let's see how it goes. It doesn't work like that. You have to be intentional and make sure that you are making the right decision, and you're going to make it work.
You know, you see, just like how if you were going to make an investment, like a financial investment, and you're going to put a significant amount of money, you would not just wake up one day and be like, wait, I have 100 million. Let me go and buy land. Let me put in so and so's company. You don't do that. Like, you're like, my 100 million. I have worked hard for it. Like, I need to, like, even do due diligence. You're like, what could be better? Land? Maybe not. Like this, like you weigh the different options that are there, such that by the time you buy whatever you choose to invest in, you're like, I feel like this is the best investment I can make at this time. And people think that the choice of partner you choose to get married to, that, you know, you're saying, this is the best person, there will be no issues, like it's going to be 100% okay the entire time. Just like, for example, if you chose to invest in a company, when you buy shares in a company, there will be moments when maybe the share price goes up. There'll be moments when the share price comes down. So really, it's the same with marriage. This is a decision that you're making that, I mean, unless some people want to go in just to test the waters, like, let me try this one. No, that's not working. Let me try this other. And I don't think anyone goes into marriage with that. Whoever chooses to go into marriage is saying, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And even when we're saying the vows, those are the things that we say. So I don't think it's a decision that needs to be made lightly. Take your time, just like how you'd be careful about all the other decisions. Be careful about this one as well. If you are lucky and within 6 months, like there's even no timeline. You can't say 6 months is perfect, 1 year is perfect, 4 years is perfect. Whatever amount of time you feel is enough for both of you to get to know each other, walk the journey to the point where you're like, now I'm ready to commit to just you. Take your time.
Take your time.
Take your time. Yeah.
And then there's this dynamic that I've seen of not just the society, like what Robinah was saying, of family pressure. I think this does not come from a good place. Reason being, it's done with selfish interests. Sometimes the family wants bride price.
Sometimes they want the pride of there was a marriage here.
Yes.
Thank you.
All the girls in this family have been married off. All the men have brought wives.
So what we are asking for is not too much. Please let us be. The comparison is not necessary.
Right?
Because these are the same people that will either mock you or will not even come to rescue you when you're having a terrible marriage. So I'm thinking, this societal pressure, as much as it is there, please numb your fears and be sure that what you're doing is the right thing.
For me nowadays, if someone is putting pressure on my male friends of when are you getting married, I call them on the side and tell them, by the way, take your time. This is such a big decision. and you have to make it in a conscious way, and you have to prepare yourself. You know, for the men, they have to lay a foundation.
Yes.
Where are you taking the wife?
Yes.
So you really have to prepare and make the decision consciously to say, okay, I think I'm ready. Let's go. Like, but so me, I tell them, don't succumb to this pressure, because those people are not going to be there when you're married. You're going to be there alone with your wife. And when you fail to feed your wife, they'll not come to your rescue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you're on rocky grounds with your wife, you might have to deal with it, the two of you. So don't succumb to pressure. Just set yourself up first. And when you're ready, you get married. And considering that men don't even have biological clocks.
I know.
Take your time.
I know.
I wish we had that privilege.
But also, anyway, I feel like the men have more pressure than we do.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Because remember, for them, they have to set that foundation, like you said. He has to work out something before he brings in another individual to join. So that pressure of like, I have to have a house by 30, I have to have this and that figured out. Before you bring in someone else's daughter into that confusion, you have to have something on you.
Or have a plan.
I know, it's what I was going to say, because I mean, you also shouldn't like delay the decision to get married based on those grounds. I have heard of couples that actually, like, you could really see they actually love each other and they have a plan, but just because the person is waiting to first construct that mansion, first buy that. That's the thing. So yeah, so some people like have the bare minimum that, you know, at least I need to have this before I commit to taking care of someone else's daughter. But also don't like be so unrealistic of have land, have what. Some people are fortunate that yes, that can happen. But it shouldn't be like a deal breaker.
It's such a small percentage.
Yes.
You have to have a proper plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ladies, do you realize there are people who actually don't want to get married?
A lot
of late, yes.
Of late, yes. And I think it's the westernization that has caused that. See, I realized, yes, whites are happy, childless.
No, they can't even, these days we can even have surrogates.
Do you know why? Because their culture has set expectations for that kind of life progression very low. First of all, those guys, they move out of their homes at 16.
Right. 18.
So, no.
Anyway, some are as early as 16, yeah.
For them is 16.
Their age is 16, not 18. So with that 16, a child is independent. You have nothing to tell them. Whatever life choices they decide to make is on them. And I've realized the algorithm on TikTok keeps on bringing me those stories of how unmarried, childless women are happier than us who choose that path of getting married and having children, because
marriages can give you stress.
Yes, that's that part. So I feel like these are the conversations that we should be having as Africans more often, because these conversations are actually hard to have here because of the how we are structured as a society. Of like, how do you even sit your parent down and tell them that, you know what, I'm going to be childless? No, see that as an abomination.
Who is going to continue the lineage?
And yet you have siblings.
Thank you. And then you tell your mom, I'm actually choosing to be a single woman. Or they'll feel, oh my goodness, you're taking away the family pride.
Yeah.
So really, I think as we progress as a society, these are the conversations that we should be able to have openly without facing a lot of judgment and criticism, because ultimately these are life choices.
Yeah.
Whoever you decide to be.
You should be able to pursue that, honestly. Because even the Bible, there is room for celibacy. Is that what it's called? There's room for you to
be. For the Lord.
Celibacy is when you're choosing to concentrate on
for
serving.
For the Lord only.
Yes.
Not just for you.
Let me tell you, the moment you decide, it is such a bad thing that we have started as Africans. If you choose celibacy, they will tag you into the LGBT.
By the way.
No, but guys, every time we front, I keep saying this in different contexts, but every time we front a certain new culture, what we don't realize is that by the time we're trying to hop onto that culture, the people we are copying are facing the after effects of those cultures. Because now when you go to those Western worlds, for them they're struggling with why aren't they getting married and trying to find ways of how do we encourage them to do what? To get married. I'm forgetting, there's a country. I wish I could find it.
The Nordic countries, I think I've researched them.
Yeah, where they're encouraging and even giving incentives.
On loneliness.
Yes. So if we are not careful, we can also find ourselves in, yes, eventually. So copy, but don't copy and face what.
It's okay for someone to not want to get married. Of course, I know.
With the right reasons.
Yes, but I know that most times it's a trauma response.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, trauma. Yes.
The things that you've gone through, the things that you've seen happen, and so you're really just saying, I don't want to get married because I don't want to go through these things. And yet, your circumstances could be different.
Yeah.
You could get a loving man or a loving wife who will never let you go through any of those things that you've seen or that have caused you trauma. But ultimately, I think it's okay for people. If you don't want to get married, I think it's okay. Because if you choose and get married just to fulfill societal constructs, you will probably not even be happy at all. Yeah. So I think that it's okay for those who don't want to get married. I know that our society wouldn't completely embrace them, starting even from your family. They would side-eye you. But I think that you need to make your choice with the right reasons for you.
Exactly, with the right reasons.
And stand by it, because it's your life.
Recently, I was researching on cultural norms on marriage. And I read up that Desi women, Indian women, especially the feminism movement, is fighting that the cultural pressure.
Because in their culture it's a lot.
For them, it's actually you. Most of them have arranged marriages.
Right.
So you have an age bracket, like a wiggle room within you can decide. After that, most families, they give you, I think, is it 23? After 23, you have failed. Yes, so they've
already passed the judgment.
Yes, you have failed on your own, so now we come in to help you.
23,
So
you're very young.
us, as Ugandans, we have not yet reached that extreme level. But it is happening in the world. Just because it's not happening to us, thankfully, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen that in extreme Islamic homes, sorry to say, but it actually does happen.
23.
Yeah, that pressure is real.
Wow.
Ananga, let's do better. By the way, at 23, I was a child.
A child.
But at
for me,
23,
I was
that's the thing. Like,
Anyway, so context.
like.
So for me, 23, I was already married.
Yes. And
No, for me, I
you
felt
felt
like-
you were ready.
And
Yeah.
So know where you are
Yeah, I think-
in your
Yeah.
journey also, so that whatever decision you make or
You
whatever
make
decision
consciously.
is made for you without pressure, but because if it's a decision you're comfortable with and you're sure of.
And you stand by for
And you
you stand by it for anything that does not go as planned. Because I feel like when you get pressured to get married and because marriage in itself is hard. It
It
has
is
its
work.
hard bits. It is sweet and nice and everything, but marriage is hard work. So I'm thinking when you get those challenges, you might end up saying, Carrie, I wish I had not gotten this pressure. Carrie, I wish. Yeah.
You've already made the decision. You have to stand by it, honestly.
Or the person you chose for me, for the arranged marriages.
For the arranged marriages. But I feel like those ones will have someone to blame.
They do. But and what else do you do? Because at the end of the day, marriage is not something that you can walk in and out.
You
at
can't.
convenience.
You can kun over.
You can kun over and go back.
Hey.
But it's not something that you can walk in and out of convenience. So it's of walking in with a conscious mind of like, now I have to make it work.
Yeah. But please enjoy your single life.
Please do.
Yeah.
Enjoy your single life. Enjoy the freedom of if you live alone, walking around the house
the way you want.
The way you want. Enjoy.
Robinah,
because
you have touched a point.
I have those friends.
Because now some of us have children, you can't even do anything. You don't have that freedom. So there are seasons in life. If you are
Definitely.
make the most. Walk the way you want in the house. Cook your breakfast at 1. Cook your breakfast at 5 a.m. Like, work hard. Make money. Stack up on assets.
Yeah.
Because you still have no responsibility. You're still single. You're still able to, like, make your decisions by yourself. So make sure that you make the most of your single life. Because when you cross over, it's different.
Yes, it is.
It is. Joint decision making.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Accountability bit.
Is what you don't like.
You don't like accountability or
For
it's
me,
hard?
The reason, I feel like one of the reasons why I found it hard in the first year is the accountability bit.
But look at you.
They are
here now.
You guys, these things of telling your husband, I'm going here, there. Of course, it's not control, but it's being accountable. Because even the other party tells you that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and that part of my life, I miss it. Of like, you want to go to the coast,
you just get up
you
and
just
go.
Get your bag and go. You want to go here, you get your bag and
Not
go.
anymore.
You get home late, it's okay. Not anymore.
Well, I want to believe that even then you had someone like
Your parents, eh?
Yeah.
No, but that is
different.
why it's different.
It's
That's why there is that
different.
actually. Sharon, after campus, you've already left. Either you have left your parents' place or you're less accountable. There are those years.
If you're still in your parents' house, you have to.
That's what I'm
abide by
saying.
the
Because for
rules.
me, I was still at my parents' house, and when I got married is when I left. So that's why I'm saying it's still the same.
Guys,
Like it's not that
I
they would
had
tell
a
me.
year. Not year. But yeah, it must have been a year of not
Do
being
what
my
you
parents.
want.
Like I was doing the most for myself
But
that year.
yeah, I mean, for me who had to,
So you
like
left
after
your parents'
campus,
curfew and went to your
there
husband's
was
curfew.
no curfew. Even now I have no curfew. But like
Just
even if I was
accountability.
going to go to maybe Rwanda and spend my entire vacation there in senior 6, I would let my parents know that, okay, so I'm going to spend the entire vacation at so-and-so's home. Or maybe if I was going to go for an overnight, I'm going for an overnight, I'm not coming back the entire night. Accountability.
Yes,
And
is,
it
of
gets
course.
to a point where when you're accountable and you easily share where you are, they won't be like,
It's
where are
easy
you?
because it's
Where are you?
mutual.
It wasn't mutual at first, for example, with my mom.
Of course, with your mom.
Exactly. But with time, because I kept telling her and updating her, that trust was built. So even with a partner, like they won't be like, it is midnight, how come you're not yet back? When they make that call, it's out of concern. But I won't wait for midnight to reach if it's not my standard hour.
Communicated.
I'll be like, by the way, this and this has happened. I'm running late. And most times like, no, you're with your girls, like take your time. You get, because you have established the trust. Accountability builds trust.
I agree with you. That accountability, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm just saying, when I didn't have it, it was easier on my end.
I know.
Sincerely, because you check this. There are certain times that I would make rash decisions of like, last minute, you want to hang out? Yes, come and we go. But now I can't. I have kids, I have a husband. I have to tell him I'm going here, because at the end of the day, if something happens to me, he's my next of kin. He's accountable. So those days, it was kind of fun. It was spontaneous.
Now you have to schedule and calendar or else.
For real, by the way.
You'd go.
Yo, the calendars.
You can actually, there's so much you can do before getting married. Like in regards to personal growth. Because when you get married, the next thing that society will pressure you to do is have
children.
Kids. So. But here you are with your money. We're talking about after campus life. Because there, you're working, you have your money.
The expectation is that you are.
Okay.
By the way,
There are those
who struggle.
Bambi. That is the problem. Okay, now let me speak for the ones that have the money. Those ones who don't have money, you stay home.
Should they also,
where are you going without
should they
money?
also marry?
No.
Don't.
Wrong reasons. Like, okay, what I mean is, whatever you do, because there are activities that actually don't require money anyway. Use that time for personal reflection. Know yourself. Like, do a research on who you are. Like, they call it introspection. Understand who you are before you bring in someone else into your life.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they are defining who you are, taking away your self-esteem because you didn't define who you are as a person. So when you get that time, do that self-evaluation. Go have further studies before a man tells you that you can't go for further studies. Because there are men who do that anyway. You know, take up courses, like, just use that time to love on yourself.
By the way, that notion of half, then you come and be one, is such a fallacy. You have to come as one whole person and one whole person and make one unit. Because if you come as half, like, you have so many things that you haven't dealt with yourself. That's why you should use your single period to read books on self-development, go and do courses, date yourself, get to know who you are deeply, get to know what makes you happy, what makes you hurt, so that you're bringing your better self to the relationship, so that you have a whole and a beautiful relationship, because these are two whole people, not half and half, right? So for me, that's my thought around that.
And a marriage is good if you it's very good if you've already done that self-evaluation. Because I mean, another person cannot tell you anything.
Right? You can't.
No, they cannot. Because are you going to tell me I'm ugly if I know that I'm beautiful and I've used that time to know myself? You cannot.
You can.
Are you going to tell me that I've not done any character assessment about myself when I have? No, you cannot.
So maybe this is one of the ways you can even help yourself not to end up in an abusive relationship.
Right?
So
because you know what you desire.
Yeah, like no man is going to come and tell you, you know, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're ugly. Because I've heard of people who have
life is sad for the blind.
Who have been called that. Like, you know, a friend was telling me about her friend who, like, she was in an abusive relationship, not physical, but emotional abuse.
That's even the worst.
Yes, and apparently the man would call her stupid, you have no brains. And yet, this was like one of the brightest people she knew. So someone who lowers you to that level, So
not even just that, of
not knowing who you are as a person and what you bring to the table.
Because this things get to your head.
Yes, like know what you bring to the table. If you are, if you know who you are as a person, I mean, now for a Christian, for me it goes beyond just knowing who I am as Sharon, but I know whose I am as well. You know, like you don't just come and mess with me when you know I have the out. You know, I'll go and report you to my father in heaven, and he'll deal with you.
My friend.
So yeah, know who you are.
One thing I tell people, before getting married, before succumbing to that pressure of getting married, knowing who you are is not enough. Know who you are, but also do not accept anything less.
Yeah, I agree.
Because let me tell you, those men,
I'm listening.
those men that you lower yourself for, will act after getting married, will act like they are the ones who helped you.
Indeed.
And you will feel so low because this is someone that you downgraded for.
I mean, why should we even be speaking about downgrading, upgrading, any grading? I feel like knowing who I am should not give me license to belittle someone else.
My friend.
So when I even start speaking about things like downgrading, it's because I'm not confident enough in who I am as a person. And that's the same with men who belittle other, who belittle the women. Because you're not confident in who you are as a person. You think by putting this other person down, that's how you, So I think we also need to try and do away with this narrative of I lowered my standards. Because you don't know what this person has also had to ignore. It may not be that obvious. Yes, it may not be that obvious of maybe you're the most educated, you're the richest, you're the most beautiful. So, yeah.
But I think that it's, what we mean is you have non-negotiables and maybe that person doesn't tick one or two of them. And then you compromise on those and go ahead with the relationship. That's, I think, what she's trying to mean by...
Absolutely, because when you're single,
okay.
when you're single, there are those things that you say, this, and this. But also, especially when you're heartbroken,
so
when you've been heartbroken, there's a way you put your world so up there. So when this person comes and you feel like, okay, let me put my guard down a bit for this person, and then they end up being exactly what you had feared. Yes. I feel like that in a way you have...
Okay. When you put it that way, I understand. But for me, what I know, at least what I know as the common understanding of downgraded, is
for looks and beauty.
It's usually to do with like maybe looks, finances, like maybe education status. Like you're going outside what other people would term your circles. Like
sometimes. Also sometimes.
So that's what most people usually mean when they say downgraded. But when you explain it that way, then yes, I mean, compromise.
Not entirely.
Yes.
Not entirely, but also sometimes. Have you seen those couples where a woman who was extremely high profile, well educated, had her money and all, and then she goes for an uneducated man, and then this man just stops her from going for all those high-flying places of like, don't go back to school, don't do this, don't do that, because you can't relate on the same level.
So that means she downgraded, but she may not necessarily have compromised on her non-negotiables.
Yes, that's possible.
You get it?
Absolutely.
So that's why they're like,
not entirely, but
Okay. I have seen someone who actually downgraded, and there's a way it shrinked. Okay, downgraded in the sense of her social status versus the husband's, and for some reason, for me who knew her personally, I feel like she shrunk a bit for some time before she actually started blooming later on after having kids. I think she got a wake-up call and just started pursuing the things that her heart beats for. But for a minute, Bambi, she shrank. She even cut us off.
When you get married, you're finding your footing.
I know.
Yeah,
so until you find your footing, you struggle here and there. You struggle here and there. Then you come back glowing.
You're entering an alien place.
Yes.
It's more of how you start a new job.
Exactly.
Like the first month.
You
struggle.
You don't know the system.
That's exactly what happens to people who get married. Like you're entering in a new place with every single thing different from what you know.
And it's worse when you have like children immediately. So there's a lot more learning to do.
I actually
very fast.
People who get married and have kids immediately.
Yeah.
There's actually a Luganda proverb for it.
What's
That's
it?
what?
I don't know how I can loosely translate it, but
First say it in Luganda.
in Luganda they say "edia ebi likusosa bana." Like
that's
a marriage which will not
also
give you so much
edia
happiness.
is marriage.
You will have kids immediately after entering.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Because these things that we are facing, our grandparents already went through.
I know, right?
But you also see
there's nothing new under the sun.
The fact that that's actually a very cultural and traditional saying. I don't know. It's kind of contradictory to how most of those cultural and traditional people talk to us now. You get married and there's first of all pressure to get married.
There's pressure.
Like when I
then there is pressure for having kids. Of this one got married 1 year ago. Why doesn't she have children again?
Comparison.
I think if I was a if I knew Baganda, like if I was a Muganda and I was being asked those questions, I would
just tell them the proverb.
Of course.
Like they don't know that a giant and
but most of them know just that, when someone wants to corner you into a certain space, they will tell you anything and everything ever is. But ultimately, I just feel like this whole marriage, kids thing is a personal choice.
It is.
Definitely.
But you see, I feel like these people who put us on pressure will never stop.
No, they don't. They don't.
Like,
it's like it's their role in society.
I just don't get it. You get out of school, have your degree, there's pressure. Why haven't you gotten a job? Why aren't you doing something? Now you get
your
something
mates
to
are
do.
getting
Yes. What are you doing with your life?
Yes.
You get the job. When are you getting married? You walk around and get married. When are you getting children? Like the pressure will never stop.
It doesn't stop there.
You think it stops?
After the first kid.
When are you having another child?
When are you having another child?
My answer is when the Lord blesses us with another one.
Man.
If you start succumbing to pressure, they will not stop.
By the way, never.
Someone actually told
Society
me
will always have
recently,
expectations
the
of you.
triplets are actually now grown. When are you having another one? Like, are you okay?
You already have 3. They still want.
At least let them be like maybe 10 years, and you're like, oh, maybe one more.
Wow, society just won't let us.
They
prosper.
won't let you prosper.
Wow.
No matter how tough you are, but for me, I've learned an answer for those ones. I am myself. I make my decisions. I'm an adult. Let me be. At the end of the day, we are living for ourselves. I mean, when are you ever going to stop succumbing to the pressure? Right? The cycle never ends.
Never. There's always some other target they want you to achieve, as if KPIs.
Keep on ticking.
So we really need to live for ourselves. Like, these are choices that you're going to make that are going to affect you. As much as they will affect people around you in a way, but you're the one going to live the life through having a child. You're the one going to have the sleepless night. You're the one going to have the responsibility of tending and taking care of this child. You're the one going to have the responsibility of making your marriage work. So make these decisions selfishly of I'm walking into this consciously, knowing that I am ready for it. I'm going to make it work, right? So
in all ways, mentally, financially, physically, some of these decisions. Because why would you... Anyway.
Like, if you're confident in your decision,
go forward
and you're not
with
being
it.
coerced,
Yeah. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Another tip that I have, by the way, when these people be putting you on pressure and asking you when you're getting married, sit them down and question them. Tell them, okay?
Let them give you their timeline.
Tell me what did you do to get married? Give me those tips. And what should I do to find a good fit for this marriage? And surprisingly, by the way, they can even help you to position yourself. If they mean well.
Power over you.
No, if they mean
if this
well.
is someone you look up to, then
they can position. They can tell you They can mentor you into positioning yourself in a way that you can find someone.
Mentorship for marriage.
No, mentorship even for dating, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I find that weird.
No, ultimately the decision rests on you, but they can point you in directions.
Yes, like how do I
go about
find the right person?
Yeah.
How do I do this? When do I know if I'm ready?
I thought people just meet each other.
No, you see the same way we are sharing these tips, There are those who are able to actually get that kind of advice, like one-on-one, like if someone came to you and spoke to you, you would share the knowledge one-on-one. You know.
Anyway, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing. I've enjoyed this episode because I am living it.
And you shall go through it.
And of course, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Definitely.
Which tunnel?
Yes, they are.
We shall focus on the light. There's light.
Yeah, there's light.
Yes.
Ahead. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing and dropping those beautiful ideas on how to navigate these issues of pressure that are completely unavoidable in this society of ours. Yeah, and to our people, I hope you have subscribed. If you're watching this, if everyone who watches our videos have subscribed, then English is failing me. Imagine how much we would have grown. 601K people watching, but they've not subscribed. It's a disservice to us. So let's...
But it's okay. They haven't made up their mind. Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching. But
we hope you'll make up your mind from this video.
Soon.
Right? And subscribe and share your opinions on how has the pressure been on your side? How have you been able to navigate? And any tips that can help anyone out there on how to deal with the pressure from society, from family, and from everyone around us. Please give us a thumbs up. It helps our content. It helps YouTube to push our content. So give us a thumbs up on this video so that it can reach more people and encourage many young people. If you haven't subscribed, I'm reminding you again, please subscribe. Thank you, HD Media, that shot and produced this episode. And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.